Question from Owen: do you put a fresh pair of batteries in your remote sales? All right, we have a question from Jane here, and she says, someone has a listing starting with Commonwealth Dogbert. Made me wonder if someone is trying to make it look like it's your listing, which of course it is not. What does the rest of the eBay cave look like? So 2 questions here. That's an extra quarter for the second question. So here's Dogbert right here. I've had him listed for a while, and I think I had the best price on eBay out there, but I'm not sure. I have to check. But Commonwealth is the name of the toy company, I believe, and I have it in my listing as well. So at any rate, I think that is the answer to that question. The answer to the other question is, what does the rest of the eBay cave look like? I've given like tiny little snippet tours in there. You know, I'm a little OCD, and I like things to be kind of right. And the way I like them, whatever right is, whatever's in my mind, I guess. And so I don't like showing off that cave in particular spots because it is not exactly, let's say, aesthetically pleasing. And so, but we're getting closer since we have 2 spaces now and can't source new inventory. And so I'm going to go in there in the next maybe 2 weeks, I think, and do a little bit more of a reveal in there. So thanks for the questions, Jane. It's a question from Kentucky Picker. Thanks for all the great vids. Need all the help I can get. One question, probably a silly one. It's not. If while doing free shipping on some items, I of course do global shipping, but will it still calculate or charge, or will it be free shipping if I had free shipping on it? So if I understand your question correctly, the shipping to the GSP center, which is in Kentucky, by the way, will be free. You'll have to send that free to them, and then they'll charge the buyer to send it on to them, but you won't have anything to do with that. So, hey, at least you're in Kentucky. It's a good place to be. Erlander, right? I think that's where you send it. I got a question from Daddy DIY, and that is not me. I'm Daddy, but I am not DIY for darn sure. Yo, quick question for you, please. How do you shine the stainless steel on your Revereware pots? So we did a video about doing the copper bottoms, and we do Barkeeper's Friend, and there's a different product my wife likes better. We're going to do a video on that. And a viewer said, hey, just use Windex on the stainless steel. So I don't know who told me that, but it's good advice. So just use some Windex. I have a question from Freddie right here, and Freddie says, just had a package sent back to me because of a bad address, and it turns out it's a new buyer. Customer still would love to have the item shipped to the correct address. How would you handle the situation? Well, that's tough. I tell you, it's a new one, so if I made a pretty good profit on the item and it's, say, first class shipping, I'd probably just ship it out again. If I'm really, really happy with the sale and I wanted that thing gone, I'd probably ship it. If the cost isn't too much, you know, if it's a $100 item and you made $60 profit on it, and it's going to cost you an extra $12 to ship it out, then I'd probably do it. You know, if you've only made a few bucks on this thing and it's, you know, $18 shipping cost, that's a totally different ball game right there. And I might just say, hey, you know, how bad do you want this thing? I'll delist it, or don't delist it, it's already gone. I might relist the item, you know, give a full refund, relist the item and say, hey, I'm going to relist it for the same price and add in, you know, $5 extra shipping and handling or something, so that I'm not eating the whole cost. Maybe we'll split the cost because, you know, it really wasn't my mistake. But I don't know. That's a good question. I really like that question, and that's just my thought process with it. So let me know in the comments if y'all think I'm wrong, or if you think I'm right, or if you think you have a better solution. All right, I have a question from a girl being frugal. Awesome video as always. Question: items that say, quote, do not sell under any circumstances, unquote, but are 30 years old, can they be sold? I have a set of Bibles on cassette and was wondering if it was okay to sell them. Well, I've never come across that, to be honest with you. Is that like, you know, cutting the tag off of the pillowcase or the pillow or whatever that is, the flammable thing? You know, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I think you're probably pretty safe, unless the tag is like from, you know, your priest or your pastor or something, and then then maybe there's eternal consequences to it. So I'm still going to say it's probably all right. All right, I have a question here from Stacy. She says, thanks, Kevin, to you and to your family for all the great information and videos. Question, how are you hanging your cell phone or camera for these shipping views on your shipping videos? So let me show you what I do here. So I have this guy right here, which is exactly what I'm holding in my right hand, actually. It's the exact same thing. And you'll see it has this little swivel on it. And so what I do is I put it up here and I slide it under this guy right there, and it shoots downward. I do the same idea with a selfie stick on the inside videos that we've done. So hopefully that helps. It's the reason why I put, well, it's not the only reason I put that shelf there. It's always good to have some extra storage, but it is one of the reasons we put the shelf right here. I have a question from Rolling with Stones, and it says, if you have an electronic item that uses batteries, but it doesn't work, why not just sell the battery cover? And then I realized, I'm like, are you seriously asking me this? I just had a video. And then, you know what, I realized it's a rhetorical question. So basically, it's not a question, but I want to address it real quick. If you do come across an electronic item that doesn't work, or say has corroded batteries and it's not worth cleaning and taking the time to sell it, then maybe pop the battery cover off. Make sure you take a picture of the model number of whatever it is you're selling, so that if you happen to misplace it or forget, you know, maybe write it down, put it in a baggie, so you remember when you're listing it what it's a battery cover to. So it's not a bad idea. I've sold battery covers, battery backs for all kinds of stuff over the years. So thank you. I have a question from, who do I have a question from? The Quicker Flip, I love it. I should have read this before. The Quicker Flipper Picker-Upper, 2019. Do you ship internationally outside of the GPS on eBay? So I use GPS for items over 5 pounds, some items under 5 pounds, to be honest with you. And I do use Flat Rate International on Pirate Ship. Those are the two ways I do it. So the answer is yes. Pirate Ship, for me, is the way to go, especially when I'm selling things like to viewers. I think we have a $8.95 shipping for the Inman to Canada. But things that are light, usually, you know, a pound or two, we'll go ahead and put those on there. It is a little bit of extra work, so I don't do it for every item. But I do it on ones that I think might attract international buyers. So thanks for the question, and terrific name. Question from Owen. Do you put a fresh pair of batteries in your remote sales when you sell your remote controls? I figure you can get a better eBay review maybe. So no, I don't. I have seen some sellers out there doing that. I think there's a couple issues to keep in mind, and some of them might seem silly, but a lot of the remotes are like 3.9 ounces after they're packaged, and literally a battery is going to put that over 4. So there's one issue. 2, batteries cost money. 3, if you leave batteries in something long enough, if it's long tail enough, you may have a corrosion issue. Highly unlikely unless you're storing stuff forever, but it's possible, I suppose. Another issue is you may get into some mailing issues because you're shipping batteries, and I believe they have to go ground. The reality is you're almost never going to get called out on that, but it's still an issue, I suppose. So my answer is no, I don't, but I have seen people doing it, and they're asking for a little bit more money. So hope that helps. Question from BB0647. How do you ship the remote? So I just use a poly bag. Depends on what the remote is. It could be a small one. It could go in one of these. Now, if you feel that a particular remote is fragile for whatever reason, some of the older ones are harder plastic and a little bit more fragile, or you think it needs protection, I think maybe sliding a piece of cardboard over the top of it and underneath it, then putting it in the poly envelope might be better. But I'd say 90% of the time I put it in a poly bag, or excuse me, a bubble poly bag, and that does the trick. Sometimes I put it in there and then fold the bubble over, or if I'm a little bit worried, I might put it in 2 poly bags, or put a little bit of bubble wrap around it and then put it in another poly bag. But essentially, it's the same way. Question from Thrift Hustle. Do the Homeschool Hustlers or Blue Ridge Mama do promoted listings? Look, I got a Homeschool Hustler just coming in right now. Come here. I got a question for you. Come on. You see, you want to show them your tattoos? That's a Darth Vader tattoo.
And another one.
That's right, because we got a sweet viewer that sent it to you, right?
Yeah.
And you got another one?
Yeah.
Do you do promoted listings, Turner?
What does that mean?
What's a promoted listing?
Yeah.
I don't think he does promoted listings. Just say no.
Yeah.
No, when I manipulate their account, I might do it once in a blue moon, but I can't ever remember doing it, so I would say no.